No, I'm not. I just like hats. One of my favorite quotes ever. Are you? No, I'm not. I just like hats. You're quite flamboyant. Are you? No, I'm not. I just like hats. That's not what this video is about, but I do like hats. I don't actually like hunting, but I do like eating. Mm. Let's see what other kind of hats we got in here. It was pretty cold. I think I spent $16 on this. Not because I wanted to, but because I was friggin' cold. Very cold. It's a nice hat. Oh, here's another one. Another hat. A man of many hats. What I want to address today is, we'll start off with Dr. Diamond. I'm going to read something that I typed, and I posted it on my YouTube already, or on my Facebook already today. So, I mean, it's there for you to read it. There was two more Natalie Bollinger things. You guys say, oh, well, they found her killer. It's all... No, see, that's the thing. None of my friends actually gave a shit to take a look. None of my friends bothered. They all were too selfish. It's not that they couldn't speak up. It's that they're too lazy. Now, I'm going to rechange the name of this because there's only a few letters that work on my keyboard. That's why the name of this one is CCTV right now. There's a lady named Pauline, and hopefully she gets back a hold of me here soon. If she doesn't, well, I'm going to make a missing persons post. Kind of got to. I'm going to post a link to a woman named Chloe Roma. She's got she actually fights for both men and women's rights. And that's something that she doesn't advertise that she's also fighting for women's rights. But once you start listening, you realize she is. She absolutely is. She's doing her best given the situation she got. Now, one of the statistics that she brings up is that 98% of assaults against men go unreported. Why is that? Well, as Dallas Richmond said, dude, I don't want to get arrested. Good point, Dallas. Very good point. Very good point, Miss Roma. So how is it that disabled homeless men get treated? Your go-to to be hurtful, you're literally making fun of someone with disabilities at this point when you say things like this, and I'm going to read what things that is. Channel comments and mentions. This douchemonger calling themselves Moldy Sponge. I can't watch these rants anymore, dude. Every video you make is poor me, poor men. Maybe you should take your own advice and work some overtime instead of being a professional victim on YouTube and complaining all the time. Bitch, get the fuck over yourself. When was the last time you worked over 40 hours instead of asking for a handout? Good luck, angry man. I don't ask for handouts. I ask for help. If a woman asks for help, do you treat her like it's a fucking handout? No! It's a pleasure! Yes, ma'am, I will bend over backwards and break myself for you. Yes, I work over 40 hours a week. I still work over 40 hours a week. Yeah. My day is spent fighting for justice, fighting for equality, fighting for our rights, fighting for the rights of the disabled, fighting for the rights of men. This is how men are treated. This is how men are treated. But it's okay. Let's ask Caroline Diamond if she thinks this is okay. See, well, this Will Smith thing, big deal, isn't it? It's a big deal. Will Smith is a bitch. If Will Smith went to prison, you know why he was crying when he went up for that award speech? Because he was visualizing Bubba shoving his cock up his ass. Yeah, that's right, folks. So we going to pretend that that's a hate crime? No, you can't. You can't pretend that that's a race crime unless you want to insinuate that Will Smith is a... Well, y'all seen the movie Django, right? Yeah, there's one very special character in there. That special character is a house slave, played by Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah. Y'all fucked up, didn't you? Now, our rights don't exist as men. As men, this is how we're treated. Disabled people are treated like they can just magic up a job, especially after having their name slandered the way that mine was. It's difficult enough for me to get a job because people don't like people who are different. If you're autistic, people will make excuses for police fucking murdering you. Now, when it comes to working over 40 hours a week, I have had many jobs where I worked over 40 hours a week. Not one of those jobs that I worked over 40 hours a week paid me more than $7.25 an hour. No, I take that back. I had a job that paid me $7.50 an hour. And also for a few days, when there was a train wreck in Chapel, Nebraska, I worked 12 to 14-hour days. I don't know if they added up to over 40 hours, but holy hell, it was a lot of work. I was 16. You should look that up. Was there really a train wreck in Chapel, Nebraska? Yes, there was. Right across the street from my grandma's house. She's dead now. But this is the stuff that we get treated like. This is 6 years of this. And then, of course, that was from Me Too. Nope, not ever. I do not support sexism or victim blaming. Men are victims too. I have seen literally over 100 women assault men in public, in front of me, in front of others, without consequences. I've never seen that for a man. I don't know how many times... How do I explain this best? If a woman claims that something happened, or pretends that something happened, yes, a man can go to prison for it. It doesn't have to be the truth. Just like Moldy Sponge here, who is a troll. But what do we do with these people? When we go over here to the little 3 dots, and we hide user from this channel. I don't owe it to you to take that. And then there's Kesara Stops Pretty Places, and someone named McGinn typed sus. I believe that means suspect. It absolutely is. Now I would reply, but I forgot my keyboard. I could probably type cctv. The thing is that when a man is being abused, all a woman has to do is tell one of three lies. And every woman in America knows what those lies are, and every man in America knows what those lies are. Every woman in America knows she can use that as a go to. Every man in America knows that if he tries to get help when he's abused by a female, that he's got zero chance. All a man can do is take it. Women have plenty of help, and even they are victimized and not heard when they're homeless. If black people are not fighting for homeless rights, they don't deserve theirs. If white people are not fighting for homeless rights, they don't deserve theirs. If women are not fighting for homeless rights, they don't deserve theirs. If men don't fight for homeless rights, they don't deserve theirs. If Jews don't fight for homeless rights, they don't deserve theirs. If Christians won't fight for homeless rights, they don't deserve theirs. If Muslims will not fight for homeless rights, they don't deserve theirs. And do you know why? Because the homeless comprise all of these people. All of them. Each one of these groups has their own special interest groups. Every one of them. Claiming they're fighting for equality. They're absolutely not. These very same people who want to talk about equality are victimizing the victims. The most... Oh my God, I don't even want to fucking go into that. Oh my God, no. Most marginalized my ass. Native Americans are not the most marginalized people in the country. Black people are not the most marginalized people in the country, despite the claims. The other thing is that this genocide against Native Americans is still happening. Just because they're not the most marginalized does not mean that they're not being victimized. Now, most black folks, you cannot state a fact without being treated like a racist. Why? Because we have taught black people, and black people have taught black people and pushed it into other black people's heads that it's okay to be racist. It's okay to play the race card. Just like douchebag wanted to play the, well, you're playing the victim card. You're playing the victim card. No, 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 no. Playing the black card. That's playing the victim card. Playing the, I'm just a girl. That's playing the victim card. I can do anything a man can do. Better than a man. Really? Which man? Because we're not all the same. Do you not get that? You box us all into the same group. And then you get pissed off when somebody like me goes, hey, you want to go blaming all men? I can blame all women. Of course, I have problems with doing that. Every time that I tell myself I'm going to be blatantly sexist in exactly the same way, but then through the video, I don't do that, do I? I stop often and make excuses for women to do these things, don't I? Often, over and over. We are victimized by other victims. Let's see. Exunt omnes typed, threatening is only a problem when you threaten people who threaten you. Or if you threaten anyone who isn't homeless. Or if you're homeless and threaten anyone at all. If it's okay for this or that person to threaten someone, then it should be okay for you to threaten someone. More proof of the hypocrisy built into the system. Plenty of people have threatened me. No one cared. But if I threatened someone who was abusing me or had threatened me first, I got punished. Yeah, absolutely. Now we're going to take some time here because I'm going to post this to Frankie's timeline. Don't get me wrong, I love Frankie, but just like everyone else who claimed that they were my friend, claimed to love me, all I asked for was the truth, and I had to pull teeth. 5 years later, he finally put up a post, one post, and he was fucking an asshole about it. It's fucked up. But we'll see what he typed. We'll see what he sent me. Let's see. It'll probably take a while to scroll through it to his part. Bunch of assholes. Some people who want to be helpful. Oh, what is taking so long? Is it really? Francis Henry Stevens III tagged me in a post. He types, and mind you, this is 5 years after the fact. He types, Sean Schwartz, trying to help my brother. Hope it is what you wanted me to do. What I wanted you to do, Frankie, at any point in the last 5 years, is call me up. Find out what's going on and actually fight for my rights. One goddamn post in 5 years shows that you just don't give a shit. I'm not human enough for you to speak up for. You're goddamn right I'm pissed off, Frankie. You know who I am, and in the last 5 years, you've not spoken up. You're not fighting for my rights at all. It goes for all of them. They were just pretty words. That's what men get. Why do 98% of assaults against men go unreported? Because nobody cares. Doesn't matter what your rights are on paper when you have to go in by yourself, especially after being accused of the shit that I was accused of. Especially after being denied my right to defend myself because of gender bias. Now, we get to hear a lot of black folks complaining that the arrests and all of the numbers with the arrests, that racist white assholes like to go, oh, well, see, black people are criminals. Black people are criminals. Look at the arrest records. Look at the conviction rate. Look at this. Look at that. Black on black crime. Black on black crime. Black on black crime. But then again, is the black community doing that for the homeless? Are they recognizing that the homeless are, well, let me explain it like this. In Boulder, Colorado, for population size, given if the population was equal, like the same number of white people as black people would be convicted at a 5-to-1 ratio over their white counterparts, according to Darren O'Connor, who is an idiot, but his math's pretty sound. But also in that report, he reported that the homeless are a 346-to-1 ratio over their housed counterparts. Yeah. Black people are the most marginalized, my rosy red ass. Now, do I love Frankie? Yes, I do. I love all of my friends, even if they're not actually my friends, even if they don't actually give a shit. If it had been a female this happened to, would it take Frankie 5 years to speak up? I'd hope not. But I'm not sexist. I would hope that he wouldn't do that to a man either. I needed people to fight for my rights because I'm not allowed. That's what the mentally ill tag is. And that's something that Dr. Diamond, well, she don't want to address. She wants to address the perfect world scenario. She'll admit that she don't live in a perfect world, but then she wants to go along with her generalizations in the perfect world scenario. Yes, in a perfect world, that's how it would work, Dr. Diamond, but we don't live in a perfect world. Matter of fact, there's not even a Walgreens here that I've seen. If you don't get that reference, well, it's probably because you haven't watched a whole bunch of commercials. All right, get some nastiness out of my ear. Now, on Dr. Diamond's channel, and I do like her, but you also get to see her bias often and frequently. And of course, what is her channel devoted to? Well, basically talking about other people. And at the end of her show, what does she always say? Mind your business. None of her shows, none of her YouTube videos, not a single one, not even one, does she mind her business. Not even one. So, yeah, don't mind your business. Do not mind your business. You know what happens if you mind your business? You end up with Jews in the oven. What happens when you mind your business? People become slaves. But who are you minding your business about? Did people mind their business about Natalie? No, they didn't. They wanted someone to victimize. I have a penis, that makes it okay. Through all of this, I've had pretty words. That's it. Who is actually speaking up for me? Not agreeing with me on Facebook. Oh, Sean, I agree with you. It sucks. Then speak out. You're seeing the evidence. Speak out. But how many people are actually doing that? You know, there's a bunch of web sleuth hangers-on that are blocked from my Facebook. They're gone because of bullshit. Don't lie to me. Don't tell me that you're going to fight for my rights. 5 years later, one fucking post? Really, Frankie? Them web sleuths did more than that. But you don't want to hear it. You won't take the time to hear it. People want me to text them the whole story. It's been 6 years of hell. I can't possibly text you the whole story. It'll take me days to tell you the story. And every time I have to start over, it's fucked. That's why we are supposed to have an advocate. We are supposed to have a caseworker. But with a caseworker, we still need a parent as an adult. We still need a parent or guardian or a friend present, or we're going to get the same treatment as we always do. And you get nothing. It don't matter if you're a man or a woman. That's how it is. Women are far more likely to get help if they go in alone. But it's no guarantee. Now let's see. What are we looking for? We're looking for Dr. Diamond. Oh yeah, I took it off of there because it wasn't necessary. But we can find it. It'd be in the notifications because I'm subscribed to her channel, so it tells me when those things happen. Here it is. Team Libra is one of her subscribers. Team Libra typed, Sean David, hello, my Libra sister. I'm a horse. That's because she was talking. Her name is Team Libra, so I let her know that I was born October 18th, 1980. That I am a Libra on one zodiac and a monkey on the other. That's why she was saying she was a horse. Well, let's see. What did I reply with? It was a pretty long one, so we'll go through it. Team Libra. Most people would get offended when you get their gender assignment wrong. But I have a girl's name and I know it. I know only 3 Shawns who are women, but it is close to Shauna or Tayshana, and those names are quite popular. Sean is the popular spelling, but my mom wanted a girl. Then, because she doesn't understand ASD, autistic spectrum disorder, she thought I was gay, which offended her religious beliefs. It's a good thing I was raised in the foster care system, I suppose, until you realize how horrible and abusive the system is. Also, I identify as either a mutt or a lesbian because it helps people understand my skin color doesn't define me and I'm not interested in sex. Some folks don't like it, but I'm not attracted to men or women. My physical intimacy as a kid showed me I shouldn't swap snot or snot like bodily fluids because I don't like it. It's gross. Many of the kids I grew up with thought it was gross too, even some of the kids who raped and molested me. Most of the girls I was locked up with were cutters. It's a two-part system. The first one is usually her being sexually abused by dad. But brothers, uncles, stepdads, grandpas, and surprisingly, a lot of moms and sisters. But it's usually the dad. Part two, she tries to tell a trusted loved one, like a parent, sibling, or friend. This is what we're told to do, isn't it? We're supposed to ask them to stop, let them know how it feels, how it makes us feel. If that doesn't work, you're supposed to go to a trusted adult, teacher, preacher, cop, your mom. Most of the time, it's mom. Anyway, it says, part two, she tries to tell a trusted loved one, like a parent, sibling, or friend. When the trusted person blows them off with, it ain't that bad, could be worse, or your dad wouldn't do that, or you just need to let it go. But the fact is, those are all betrayals of trust. How can she trust you now? So she cuts herself with a lady bic, hoping it will be enough to make them listen. Just a few scratches on the wrist. Instead, she is locked up on suicide watch, goes to Centennial Peaks or Mount St. Vincent or Clearview or Child Study and Treatment Center, Orcas Cottage, or Fairfax. She will stay until she misses her friends and is tired of the pills and lack of brains. Yes, the pills take away your ability to think. These pills that Dr. Diamond, take those pills yourself. Go to a doctor and have those pills prescribed, take them, and then tell me that it's okay to force those into somebody's body or to tell somebody that that will fix it. Oh, no, 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 no. Says, let's see, you just need to let it go. But the fact is, those are all betrayals of trust. How can she trust you now? She cuts herself with a lady bic, hoping it will be enough to make them listen. Just a few scratches on the wrist. Instead, she is locked up on suicide watch, goes to Centennial Peaks or Mount St. Vincent or Clearview or Child Study and Treatment Center or Orcas Cottage or Fairfax. She will stay until she misses her friend and is tired of the pills and lack of brains. In sexual abuse class in Fairfax, for example, the therapist would say, "Why did you try to kill yourself?" But she didn't try to kill herself. Let's see. She needed attention to be heard. She says, because my dad and is cut off by, we aren't here to talk about your dad. We're here to talk about you and your choices. Mind your business, right? Fucking pieces of shit. That's right. Mind your business. In the 1800s, if the North had just minded their business, Dr. Caroline Diamond would likely be property of somebody, especially in the state that she's in. Mind your business. How did that work out in World War I? How did that work out in World War II? It didn't. Anyway, she says, because my dad and is cut off by, we aren't here to talk about your dad. We are here to talk about you and your choices. So she learns to lie and pretend it's okay so she can see her friends again. Daddy hits the honeymoon period where he is nice the first couple weeks, but he got away with it the last time. And now he has the mentally ill test. And now she has the mentally ill tag, so nobody will believe her. When he does it again, she throws a tantrum to force the cops to show up. Dad says she's mentally ill, so they give her a choice between staying with her predator or getting locked up. She chooses the second one. In CSTC, she starts cutting deeper on her upper arms, but they won't listen. By the time she leaves, she's got close to 100 scars. This isn't the worst part, though. You get the third type of cutters, the deep gash cutters, when all hope of ever being hurt is lost. She cuts on her upper thighs deep because it feels good. The body releases feely good chemicals all over deep cuts. I wonder whatever happened to Ananda. She was a cutter, and she protected me from Steve, a staff member who liked little boys at Fairfax Mental Hospital in Kent, Washington. That's the hospital at the beginning of Patch Adams. So, yes, I'll take being gender misidentified because there are far worse things in the world. Why was I in Fairfax? Similar situation, but I wasn't being molested by my dad, I was being beaten by him. My stepmom, she said, "Oh, your dad would never hit you. Your dad would never hit you." No, my dad would never hit me in front of you. Big difference. Now, do I hate Frankie? No, I love Frankie. I love most of the assholes who threw me away. None of these people fought for my rights. They looked away because it wasn't happening to them. Not okay. They say, "Oh, well, at that point in time, yeah, that point in time, 5 years ago, 5 years ago, what have you done since then? Have you cared since then, or have you ignored me for 5 fucking years? Made excuses for 5 fucking years." Yeah, how long does that excuse actually last? I have had to break the law to try to get heard because of empty promises. A lot of y'all say, "Oh, well, you don't have to do that." Really? No, I do. If it's either take the abuse or do something about it, you fucking do something about it. Caroline Diamond saying, "Mind your business." Well, I tell you what, when that predator does that to people and you mind your business, he does it to somebody else. You also get to see where you don't have to be a predator. Me, I'm not a predator. But look at all of the abuse that I've gone through. And then people want to do the same thing. Your excuses are always the same. Always. Your excuses why it's okay to victimize a homeless person is they need to just get a job. Well, I disagree with that. I had people telling me I just needed to get a job right after I got out from work in Boulder, Colorado. This country is nasty. Now, what can we do about it? Well, we can stop being sexist. We can stop blaming all men, especially since, well, like black folks keep complaining about how the numbers on the incarceration show that black people are the most margin. No, they're not. But it does show that, yes, the statistics that all of these racist white assholes want to keep throwing at us is arrest records, and arrest records are based on bias. The things that were done to me are also done to black homeless people. Black homeless people. In 2019, out of 60 million black people in America, 22% of those killed by police were black. 49% were homeless out of a population size of only 500,000. That's only 1/120th the population size of black folks, and yet they account for over double the number of people that are killed by police. Over double. If the homeless had the same population size as black people or disabled people, they would account for over 99% of the people killed by police every year. They would account for over 48,000 deaths per year if they had the same population size as black people or the same population size as the disabled. But you don't want to hear that. It doesn't fit your rhetoric. It doesn't fit your bias. It doesn't fit your racism. It doesn't fit your sexism. It doesn't fit the lies your mommy and daddy told you. Do you just believe blindly what your mommy and daddy tell you, or do you look it up for yourself? See this magic machine right here? I can look up anything at my fingertips. There's a lot of this shit. But if you pretend it's not going on, then it's fine. All of my friends, every one of my friends showed me they're not my friends. Now, here's somebody that I love very much, Amanda DeMette. Amanda DeMette could speak up. She could fight for my rights. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult for her to post up about what I'm doing on her Facebook, on her timeline. It's not complicated. Her excuse is that, well, I'm too busy because of my kids. You're not too busy. If you can make a post, you can make a post. Now, there's situations that she was there for, and of course, I recorded conversations with her about those situations, and they're on my YouTube channel. But nobody actually fought for my rights, while a lot of people fought to victimize me and get away with it and prevent me from showing evidence, went out of their way to destroy evidence over slander. And what the fuck did Frankie do? Ignored it. What did Amanda do? She ignored it. What did Brenda Dickinson do? She ignored it. Everyone ignored it. Just the pretty words is all they were willing to do. And as we all know, those pretty words are dismissive. Those pretty words let us know you're not going to help. You don't care how much we are victimized. Not every black person out there who is arrested because they're black. Not every Hispanic person who is arrested because they're Hispanic. You get to see how my predators, by name, literally killed people. After I had told on them and been treated like shit, given them mentally ill treatment. What did it take to close up Clearview? It took people speaking up. It took the father of a boy who was locked up in Clearview speaking up. Because that boy who was in there doesn't matter. He's got the mentally ill tag. He's not a human being. You have to have an actual human being call it in when you're called mentally ill. I'm disgusted by all of you. A lot of people promised they were going to do things, and then years later, they're like, oh, I'm sorry. No, go fuck yourself, Chelsea. They won't listen to me. That's right. They won't listen to you. They will listen to us. I got kids. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if you got kids. That is a shitty excuse for doing wrong shit. Frankie, your mentality is the reason that millions of Jews were put in the oven. Chelsea, that bullshit right there is why millions of Jews were put in the oven. Graham, that's why millions of Jews were put in the oven. Brenda Dickinson, that is why millions of Jews were put in the oven. Men are the Jews of modern America. Modern America is a Nazi society. What is the only difference between the United States and Nazi Germany? Well, Nazi Germany was just trying to kill all the Jews. Whereas the United States of America uses them for profit. They had no rights in Nazi Germany. They have no rights in the United States. Between the two, the Nazis were far more humane. Sure, both of them are torture, but the Nazis got it over quickly. The United States will victimize somebody with the mentally ill tag for the rest of their life. Now let's talk about Lisette Brown. This woman was supposed to be an autism advocate in Colorado. She was supposed to help me after Natalie died. Because the people who I had been going to before Natalie died weren't doing their fucking jobs. Jeff Ritter wasn't doing his job. Kara Heller was not doing her job. I jumped through all of those hoops so that I could do something about the abuse. When you're called mentally ill, you are not allowed to defend yourself. Jada Pinkett Smith thought it was hilarious. And what does Caroline Diamond do? She makes excuses. Makes excuses. That's right. Caroline Diamond, though, she's got aphasia as well. So do I. That's right. Jada Pinkett Smith doesn't have some rare, obscure cancer. Now, being fat, you make fun of someone for being fat. Well, that right there is a medical condition. It's called obesity. You make fun of somebody who's skinny. Same thing. You make fun of someone who's tall. It's a medical condition. There's a medical name for it, so it's a condition, right? Okay. We'll run with it. The rules are different. People say often, you shouldn't compare yourself with others. No, you absolutely should. Equality. Mind your business, huh, Dr. Diamond? No, I'm absolutely not going to mind my business. This is our business. If black people are being murdered, that makes it legal for the cops to murder anybody. It's our business. If they can do this to the homeless, they can do it to all of you. Most of you are one paycheck away from being homeless. Sorry, that's wrong. Most of you would have been homeless 5 paychecks ago if it wasn't for credit. And when you die owing all of that money, it's the rest of us who are going to pay for it. Credit is immoral. It is. Now, people want to tell somebody who's disabled, like magically their disabilities disappeared just because you made a suggestion. Like magically somebody in a wheelchair is no longer in a wheelchair because you told them to jump some hurdles. Magically, that boy who can't speak, if you tell him to go give a speech, magically his speech is going to come back, isn't it? If it was ever there to begin with. That's your mentality. That's the sickness that you have in your head. No common sense. And that's the thing about Caroline Diamond. Caroline Diamond is extremely intelligent. She has zero common sense. Zero, none, nada, zilch. Her lack of common sense comes from the fact that she wants to generalize instead of individual cases. Her lack of common sense comes from saying things like, mind your business, after making a whole show where she's not minding her business. She's talking about everybody else's business. Then she wants to talk about how terrible gossip is. That's all she's doing. She doesn't have the facts. She's just talking out her backside, like everyone with an opinion. How about we stick to facts? Now, that's the thing last Sunday that made that one thing so incredibly wonderful, is that she was working on facts. She was actually educating us. Thank goodness. Thank goodness she did that. This is a medical professional verifying how it's supposed to be. But she was stating it as if that's the way that it is. I'd love to have a one-on-one conversation with her and actually post it up. A one-on-one conversation. But between looking at evidence and saying, well, you're making excuses, I do expect her to say you're making excuses. Which is why, since she has an email address, I'm going to send her a shit ton of evidence. Not that she'll look at it. I hope she does. I'm fairly certain that when I called her phone number, she actually heard it. The reason I say that is because at the very beginning of the thing, she mentions that it's... Well, you'll have to watch the video. Yeah, I'm disorganized. I don't have a place to organize. You tell me to get a job, like it's just like that. Here in Oregon, it is like that. Everywhere I go, everyone here in Oregon is hiring. Of course, that's because of the cost of living. I've had a lot of people tell me here, dude, you need at least $1,100, $1,200 a month to rent a place. Holy shit. On the bright side, it's not the, what is it, $3,600 a month average in Boulder, Colorado. You will make excuses for the predators. If people like Frankie and Chelsea and George and Brett and Sarah Rubiolo, if these people had spoken up when it made a difference, I wouldn't be pissed off at them. But all of these people who I had helped out, people who I had rescued, people who I had saved, people who I had given blankets, people who I had helped to find when they went missing, all I needed from them is for them to speak up and tell the truth. Same thing with King of Nichols. Same thing with Tony DeStassi. Same thing with Neil DiMuccio. When you're a man, nobody cares, especially if you're white, especially if you're homeless. And after the slander against me, it's no wonder why people wanted to look the other way. That's why I needed their help. That's why I needed them to look at the evidence. This is slander. Instead of hiding because you don't want to be associated, you were already involved, motherfucker. You were already involved. If you want to say, well, I don't want to get involved, too late. Too late. Too late, Peaches, a.k.a. Kayla Trujillo. Too late, Kayla Manning. Too late, Brenda Dickinson. Too late, Morgan McNeese. Too late, Danica Garner. Too late, Rochelle Shelley Campbell. Too late. Natalie did it right. Natalie did the right thing. By having Joseph Michael Lopez blow her head off. She was 100% right in doing so. She was 100% wrong in trying to frame me for it. Because of gender bias in this country, and bias against the homeless, and bias against whites, nobody cared. They cared about Demetrius Shankling. They cared about Elijah McClain. They cared about Zayd Atkinson and Samuel Leon Lawrence IV. They cared about Kelly Clark. They cared about Michelle Rodriguez. But not one of these people gave a holy goddamn about me. They wanted to hide like rats. They wanted to hide like cockroaches. I got one more hat I want to put on because I like it. It's still a work in progress, of course. But after I put it on and see what it looks like on video, I'll know what it looks like. And I'll know what stuff I got to do to make it better. Now, obviously, it's doused in dirt. It's doused in all sorts of stuff. It's nasty. What do you think of it? How does it look to you? Do I look like a chunk of ground? Yeah. I got a whole suit. It's called a ghillie suit. Poachers use them. Snipers use them. I use them. Of course, I don't have a firearm. So what purpose do I have for a ghillie suit? So I get left alone. So I can go off in the woods and get left alone. If it gets to the point where I'm not able to feed myself, I got a bow. I can barely pull it back. But I can pull it back. Whoa, one moment. Oh, oh. Ugh. Now, there's also a possibility that, well, Caroline Diamond might look at that stuff and go, holy shit, Sean. Matter of fact, I think I'm just going to post up a whole bunch of stuff. And when she says you shouldn't have done this and you shouldn't have done that, and this is what you should have done and that's what you should have done, I can show her that the things that she's going to tell me I should have done, I tried hundreds of times. Or the things that I didn't try, it's because it doesn't work. And I can show that I tried it and it didn't work. I can show that her suggestions got me victimized, or that her suggestions are ignored. Now, I get that a lot of black folks want to pretend that only white people can be racist, or that black people can't be racist. Well, that's bullshit. Where did me and Caroline Diamond's argument start? That started 2 weeks ago. I said that calling someone mentally ill is worse than calling them the N-word. And it is. You call somebody the N-word, if somebody tries to turn you in for a crime that you committed, and you call them the N-word, you're the bad guy. If somebody tries to turn you in and you call them mentally ill, you are casting doubt on that person. You are going out of your way to destroy that person's voice. That's all the term mentally ill is. It is not a diagnosis. Mentally ill will never be a diagnosis. Ever. Schizophrenia is a diagnosis. ADHD, that's a diagnosis. Bipolar disorder, that's a diagnosis. Tourette syndrome, that's a diagnosis. Autism, that's a diagnosis. Those are all diagnoses. Mentally ill is not. People like to tell me what I should have done. Well, guess what? The stuff you think I should have done, either A, I tried it, or B, you think I should kill people. No, I'm not going to try that. If I am attacked, yeah, there is a possibility because I am trained that I could potentially kill someone on accident. There's lots of people who are trained in martial arts. When you're being harmed, when you're being hurt, when you are afraid that somebody is going to beat you to death, what's going to stop you from punching them in the throat when that's what you're trained to do? What's going to stop you from wrapping them up in the half Nelson and then throwing your legs out behind you as hard as you can? What's going to stop you from doing that? If you're untrained, what do? If you're untrained, you try to bite and stretch and claw or grab them by the balls, whatever you can do because you're scared shitless. But when you're trained, you know how to make it stop. You're not fighting for an option. All that guy's got his arms wrapped around your neck, squeezing the oxygen out of you. When I'm assaulted, I take it. I take it for a reason. I do not have a history of running around just assaulting people. But you notice since Natalie's death, law enforcement has done everything that they can. Law enforcement, that's right. Nobody else is claiming that I assaulted them. But those who work for the system and help out the police. Police used the hospitals to victimize me when I tried to turn them in and when I tried to turn in my other predators. If you're not sickened by this, you're sick in the head. You're a disgusting excuse for a human being. You don't deserve your rights. Every time I see a BLM post, I'm going to post on it. Every time I see an anti-man post, every time I see an anti-white post, I'm going to post up that all of you do not deserve your rights because of how you treat the homeless. Neglect is abuse. Assault is abuse. And defaming a person's name in a way that will get them harmed. I don't mean harmed as in just being made fun of. I mean having everything taken from them the way that mine was. And you say, well, you shouldn't have acted that way, Sean. Look how I acted to begin with and what help did I get? What the fuck did Frankie do before Natalie was killed? He wasn't even one of the people I went to before she was killed. But people could see that I was different. That's the thing about trauma. You see somebody who's changing that drastically. You victimize them. But they've changed that drastically because they're being victimized and they're trying to get help and you're blowing them off. It's even more prevalent if you got a penis. You're disgusting, folks. No woman in this country deserves her rights unless she's willing to fight for the women on the streets. No man in this country deserves his rights unless he's willing to fight for the rights of the men on the streets. Is that true? No, it's absolutely not. That's not equality. If I only fought for the men's rights, then I would be just as shitty as BLM. I would be as much of a piece of shit as the Me Too movement. Also, I'm not sure if I said this at the beginning of the video, so I'm going to say it now. Y'all can go fuck yourselves if you're not down with equality. You do not get to bitch about equality. None of you. None of you have the right to do so. None. Not one of you. You want to be treated that way, but you don't want others to be treated that way. You're not willing to fight for their rights. They're not willing to fight for your rights. So neither of you have rights. Do you know why? Because you're fucking stupid. BLM is fucking stupid. MMIW and MMIP are fucking stupid. Me Too is fucking stupid. That's not equality, assholes. So why is it that I still fight for Black lives? Why is it that I still fight for the rights of Black folks? Why is it that I still try to find missing and murdered Indigenous people? Why is it that I still speak out about women being raped and abused? Because unlike all of these groups, I'm after equality. Shove it up your ass. Merry Christmas, folks.